Well, welcome everybody. This is Intro to Electric Blues Guitar with Paisley Blues Fest, and my name is Rob Elder. Glad to be here. This is a lot of fun, actually. I haven't done this in a long time, and to do a video in isolation has given me a little outlet here, play some guitar, and maybe help some of you along the way. My job today is to give you, whatever level of player you are, a little insight into blues guitar, and I'm going to take it right from the beginning. We're not going to get into the history of it or anything too deep theory-wise. Actually, we're not going to go into theory at all. What we're going to do is give you some ideas how to get the sound you want, or how to work with what you have to get a sound that you like. We're going to talk about the 12-bar blues. We're going to talk about the Pentatonic Blues Scale, and we're going to try and put it all together, give you a few licks and riffs to work with, and hopefully by the end of it you've got something to work with. Maybe you'll watch the video a few times, but I think that whether you're a basic guitar player just starting out, whether you have an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, whether you have a bunch of pedals or just an amplifier or no amplifier, I think it doesn't matter. Anybody can play the blues, and I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to show you how easy it can be, and hopefully we can have fun with it. I know I always have fun with the blues, no matter what they say about the blues being the sad genre. I think that the blues can be a lot of fun. I love it myself, and I think if you're watching this video, you must love it too. And whether you're 10 or you're 110, this should hopefully give you some value. I'd love to know your feedback. Glad you're here. Hope to see you at Paisley Blues Fest. I know myself and my band are scheduled to be there in September. If everything goes well and everything moves ahead as planned, the Rob Elder Trio will be there to play some blues for you. So we're going to start with the basics here, and we're going to help you get your sound. All right. So you can see in the background I've got this wonderful Fender amplifier, and it's big and it's bad. It's got 40 watts of tube power and will blow the face off your pet dog if you turn it up to 3. But we don't need that. In fact, I'm not even using it today. I've also got a pedal board. I'm not using that either. I'm going to show you what you can do with little to nothing. And we're going to start, in fact, we're probably going to start and end with a simple little amplifier. So this is what I'm using today. You might even recognize it as something that you have. Okay, I'm going to turn this over here so you can see the controls. Now, what it does have is an overdrive channel, and you don't need that. Okay, the overdrive channel is just a separate channel. When you plug your guitar in here, it can go through the clean channel or it can go through the overdrive channel. Overdrive is simply when you push something a little too hard and it starts to break up. you get that crackly, fuzzed, or distorted sound. So I think that you probably have heard of an overdrive pedal or a distortion pedal. That's the sound they're trying to get. And really, it's the sound of something breaking up. So it's actually pushing things a little too hard and giving you a cool sound that's very bluesy. Okay, so in this case, this amp has a clean level, that's just volume. But if we select this button, we're going to go over to this overdrive channel, and you've got 2 levels. Some amplifiers like this, a little practice amp, something like what you might have at home. Okay, see that in this camera here. Okay, there's these 2 controllers. A lot of amplifiers will just have 2 volumes. Okay, so there will be a volume that that brings up the level of what's coming into the amplifier from your guitar. That might be the line level or the input level, and then you might have a master level. Okay, you might only have 1 level, which means you can't really do much with this, but I'll show you a few tricks as well. In this case, if you've got 2 levels, the trick is, if you want that dirty sound, you want to go from clean to dirty or bluesy or overdrive or distortion, however you want to call it. The first volume is going to go up high. The second volume is going to be down low. So you might start with the gain, or sorry, the level or the second volume at, say, I don't know, maybe quarter of the way up, or maybe what you would call 1 or 2. And then you take your first level or your gain and you turn about halfway up. Okay? If you like clocks, then your first volume or your gain could be at 12 o'clock, and your next volume could be at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, that's right. So, we're going to set that down. We're going to see what that sounds like. Now that's pretty heavy. Now, you can't see this, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to take the first volume down a little bit. So it's going to go to 3 o'clock. Sorry, 9 o'clock. And the second volume is going to go to 12 o'clock, top of it. All of a sudden it's clean. Show you what I did here. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. So now, I've got a small volume going into a big volume. It's nice and clean. Right? And I do it the other way. Second volume back down to 9. And the first volume, or the gain, up to 12. There. Now, you can play with this. I'm going to take the gain down a little bit. I think what I'm going to end up with is, if you look at a clock, I want them both at about 10 o'clock. For me, anyways. Now, here's the thing. There's also your guitar. Now, this guitar has 2 pickups, okay? And it's very simple. 2 pickups, there's a switch, okay? A volume and a tone. Let's see what happens with the volume. Obviously, it gets quieter, right? Now, this can overdrive the amp a little bit too. It can also get really loud. My family's going to run away though. They're going to be scared of the volume. So let's bring the volume down a bit. You don't want to scare away your parents or your wife or your kids. So we've got a good sound. This switch on this guitar, when I do it this way, it does this pickup on its own. If I do it that way, it does this pickup on its own. When we do it in the middle, it does them both. Nice and simple, right? Now, this is my tone control, so listen to this. See how it got really muddy, really low? I turned it all the way down and went to the bass side. I get a bit more treble. When I'm up on this pickup, that's what it sounds like when I do both. When I do that one, listen to the difference. This is called the bridge pickup. Big difference. Okay, lots of control there. What I like to do is this. This might be, I need a pick. This might be for when I'm doing my rhythm. I might hit this, give me my leads. Instead of having a pedal on the floor, hear the difference? So, your guitar might be different. There might be 5 switches here. There might be buttons all over the place and knobs and all sorts of things, but play with them. Okay, find out about them. You can probably find out either from the manual or from a friend or from your teacher, or go online and research your guitar. Many guitars, my Fender back here, it's got a broken string. It's got a bunch of switches up and down. And then there's a switch up here and a volume down there, and you can make a lot of adjustments to get the sound that you want. And again, this is without any pedals, without any you know, distortion or overdrive. In this case, I'm just using the amplifier and making a switch. So I'm going to do this. So I got 2 really distinct sounds without having a pedal, without having a board. I just have a guitar and an amp. And I'll tell you what, this is not a top of the line guitar. You can do a lot with just about anything. This is actually my one of my backup guitars, and very inexpensive, but plays great and gives me lots of sounds. So as you can see, I mean, I've got this wee little amp. I can't even remember where it came from, but it was, you know, inexpensive. It's small. It's easy to carry around. Very, very simple, and it actually sounds great. I can make a lot of adjustments, and I don't need to spend a fortune. So there we go. We've got some good sound. Remember, if you want that clean sound, okay, your first volume is going to be low, and your second volume will be high. If you want a dirtier sound, you're going to bring that first volume or the gain up, and the other volume down. You'll find a nice balance between that, but basically by having a high volume on the first control and a low volume on the second one, you will get what they call overdrive. Okay, so that's that. There's a lot more knobs and buttons, but that's a good start. And remember to use the switches and buttons on your guitar as well, namely your tone, which is your treble and bass. I turn it down, I get bass. Turn it up, I get treble. And between these 2 pickups, in my case anyways, I can get 3 very distinct sounds from using just one, just the other, or using both. So fiddle around with your guitar, find your sound, and remember, big volume into little volume will give you overdrive. All right, so we're gonna do the 12-bar blues, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the blues for 12 bars. Now we're gonna use the key of E, and I wouldn't say that's necessarily the blues key, but a lot of blues is done in E, and I think it's just because the guitar is open E. I mean, that's your E, that's your E. Your main chord there is an E, and it makes sense. It makes sense. But we're going to use E today, especially because I think I can show it in a simple way. It's a good place to start, good place to learn. And if you can play the blues in E, you can play the blues with anybody. Okay? So we're going to start with the structure. Okay, it is a 12-bar blues, so I'm going to count it out as I play. So I'm going to keep this down a notch volume-wise. Okay, we're going to do it in E. If you know it, play along. If you don't, I'm going to show you how to do it. But this is the structure essentially. All right, I'm going to count with it. Ready? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. 12, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, so that was 12 bars. The blues can go in a lot of different directions. They can take variations of that. It can change halfway through. They can end, they can start, they can add in a bridge, they can do runs and all sorts of different things. But that basic concept and slight different versions of it is essentially what they would call the 12-bar blues. Okay, so we're gonna work on this. And what I want to show you is, first of all, if you don't feel like you've got big enough fingers or a big enough stretch with your hand to do what I'm doing, I'm going to show you that if you know your chords, okay, if you can play an E chord, then you can do it along with us, okay? You can just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then A. 2, 3, 4, E. 2, 3, 4. Back to your A. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E. 2, 3, 4. You're gonna have to do a B. There's a B. A. You see I did a little different turnaround there. That's just from habit. But that was just playing simple E chords. A chord. And any B that you managed to pull off. That's a power chord. Here's a nice little B7th. Right? We could do a bar chord. So we could do bar chords. What I'm doing is a nice simple 2 or 3 string chord. It's based off the power chords. If you know power chords, you're going to do this finger right here. I'm just going to lay my finger across those 2. I just want those 3 strings. Right? The beauty of that is that was an A, right? Because this is an A. That's a G. That's an F. And then you guessed it, we go down to here and it's an E. I'm not going to use my ring finger though, I'm going to use my first finger. Then go. So that's what I want. I want open E, 2nd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, 2nd fret. Now, we're going to use your ring finger over here now. We're going to hold this down and just hit this string. 2nd string, 4th fret. Try that a couple times, see how it feels. Make sense? Now listen. Sound like the blues? That's a good start. You got to give it a little 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Got it? Okay. What's next? Okay, instead of doing open E, we're going to do open A. Right? 2nd string. 3rd string, 2nd fret. 4th string, 2nd fret. And it's just, we don't want the E anymore. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to put my hand on it here. I'm going to rest my palm on there so I don't hit it. And I'm going to get my pick between these 2 and go. You'll notice that I like to dampen the strings a bit with my palm. Okay, instead of going. Okay, I got my finger in here, so when I hit it, it just dampens, right? My hand's on here. Now I can go back down to there. So there's my E. Right? There's my A. Right? A. E. Now, when I go to the 3rd chord, it's a B, and I like to do this. I go and do this power chord up here, because I stretch my fingers way out like this. So I'm doing the exact same thing, only now I'm doing this. Right, I was doing A, and now I'm doing. Or you could 7th chord. If you're not sure about a B7th chord, if you know a C7th, here's a good way to get there. I go to my C. C7th is adding my pinky right there on the 4th string, 3rd fret. There's a nice C7th, okay? If I just take that whole thing, slide it down, okay, this finger's not there anymore. That's a nice B7th chord, okay? And if you want to redo your fingers, you could go like this. Go to your A. So if you're just using your regular chords, it'd be like this. A, B7, A, E. Okay. So, nice and slow. I'm going to set this up so that you can see me do it. And I'll count along again so you can follow along. We'll do it nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. 6, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 9, 2, 3, 4. 10, 2, 3, 4. 11, 2, 3, 4. 12, 2, 3, 4. And done. So that's your 12-bar blues. And I'm going to lay it down again. I'm going to speed it up a little bit and give it a few little spices so you can see where it leads to. That's the basis of it. But this is the way I like to play it, and the way it might sound once you've practiced it a few times. Ready? 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. So that is the 12-bar blues. Again, whether you use your E, A, B7th, or your E, A, B7th, or your E, A, B, however you want to do it, or however you're capable of doing it. We're playing the blues in E. You can use those structures, or like I said, kind of this half power chord. A. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to take that and remember it, and want to imagine, you know, what kind of licks or riffs you could play along with it. And you can do all sorts of things. I'm going to show you some really simple riffs and licks, but before that we're going to talk about the pentatonic blues scale. It's the pentatonic scale, often referred to as the blues scale, and in E it looks like this. So it starts on E, of course, and ends up here, but we're going to look at two boxes. I like to look at them as boxes. So this box, okay, which is right here. How do you do this? Okay, and then a smaller version that just does this. Okay, we're going to use lots of open notes, so it's going to be nice and simple and straightforward. Your scale is going to go like this. Okay, on your low E string, open E, 3rd fret, open A, 2nd fret, open D, 2nd fret, open G, 2nd fret, open B, 3rd fret, open E, 3rd fret. Okay. Now there's extensions of that scale, but that's the basic scale. By using that scale, whether it's down here or up further, there's lots of different ways to use it. Okay? But that pentatonic scale can be used all over the board in any different key when you're playing the blues. Now, there's different versions, there's certainly different additions and subtractions or different styles, but in a straightforward pentatonic blues scale, it's going to go with the straightforward 12-bar blues very nicely. And that scale, like I said, up here, because this is 12 frets up, this is your octave, this is your E again. Right? So, in this case, it's nice and simple down at the bottom, because you can just go. Up here, you're using 2 fingers. You can see how it can turn into a lick. That's just using that scale. Okay. Okay, so using that pentatonic scale, we're going to go through it again, and then I'm going to show you some riffs that will tie in nicely with the 12-bar blues. So here it is again, down low. That's open 3, open 2, open 2, open 2, open 3, open 3, open 3, open 2, open 2, open 2, open 3, open E. Or up here, 12th fret, okay, same thing. Missed one there. It's 4 frets, 3 frets, sorry, 3 frets, 2 frets, 2 frets, 2 frets, 3, 3. Okay, so if I've confused you sufficiently, hopefully you can take that, watch that a few more times, remember that scale. It's going to be helpful. If you can find it other places on the fretboard, great. Today is an intro, so we're not going to go too much further beyond that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put together something for you, and we'll try some licks and riffs, and hopefully you can use those and see what they work, see how they work in your hands and with your guitar, and give you something to practice and build on. Makes the blues fun. You get to noodle. You get to have fun with your guitar all over the fretboard. Soloing certainly is part of it, and those licks and tricks. Once you get a start at them, you'll be addicted, and I'm sure you'll find them everywhere, in every song you listen to, every musician you hear play. But that's what we're going to do next. All right, so we're going to talk riffs and licks and tricks. I guess I didn't really plan that title, but that's the next section here. We're going to put some of this together so you can see how simple it can be to play some lead guitar when you're doing the blues. So we're going to use the 12-bar blues structure. We're going to stay in the key of E as we have been, and I'm going to show you a few things. So here's something very simple. It's not using the pentatonic blues scale, but it's using 2 strings. So this one's nice. It's going to sound a little like Stevie Ray Vaughan. I wasn't going to drop a name there, but this is what I want you to do. So on the 5th string, on the 5th fret, okay, an open string on your E, or your 6th string, okay? We're going to go up to the 8th fret on that 5th string, and the 7th fret. Sorry. Yeah. So. Up to the 12th fret and just cover them both. Right? You don't have to slide into them like I am. You can just do. Sorry. And this is what it's going to sound like. 2, 3, 4. Okay, or with the 12-bar blues behind it. 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice and simple. You could take that anywhere and it'll sound legit. Okay, so remember. Okay, next one. This can be an intro or a go-between. You're going to go on the 4th fret, okay, 4th string, and the 4th fret on your 6th string, your E string. And go back and forth. So that last one, you went down. And then I did a hammer on here. It goes, which is when I pluck the string, and then add it on there. And the next one is your open E. So. Okay. That can be used in a lot of different ways, but it might start a song, for example, like this. Okay, and what I did is I ended up on the B, okay, which is the third chord of your 3 that we use in this 12-bar blues pattern. In that case, I had another riff to get there, so I came down, right, and then I walked up from the A string, open A, right here, 2nd string. This is B right here. You can do. I went. Here's my B7. So I went. And then the song kicked in. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Okay, I've got my looper going there if you're wondering how I'm playing without playing. But let's try that again. Here we go. I put them all together and it flowed perfectly into those different pieces. So here's another one. This could be very simple. It's at the top part of your pentatonic scale, or the bottom, depending on how you want to look at it. But on your 5th and 6th strings again. Okay, that's your 5th string, and then 5th and the 3rd fret, and then your open E, or open 6th string. Like this. 2, 3, 4. Super simple, but it gets a nice little groove across. Okay. You can start mixing them together. Right? Okay. So within your blues scale, everybody wants to bend a string. Let's try this. Okay. Okay, you'll notice that I like to set my hand on the guitar here, all right, just to dampen it a little bit. Or also to sound like this. It's very loud, very noisy. I can control the volume a little bit here and make it a little bit more staccato. All I did was move my hand. I'm just resting it on the strings a tiny little bit so they can still work. Alright, so we're going to go on this 4th string on the 2nd fret, and we're just going to bend the heck out of it. Whether you got to use your 1st finger, or your 2nd finger, or your ring finger, or 2 at the same time. So you're going to pick it twice. got that? 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's so many different ways. Little things like that. If we do it up on the top part of the guitar, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's the string you're going to bend a lot of the time, is your 4th string, okay, or the G string. But if we extend the pentatonic scale, so remember we went to the 3rd fret on the 5th and 6th string, we're going to go up to the 7th fret. Okay. And we're going to do this. So this is a cool one. I'm going to start here. So I'm going to pick it when we're on this. So we're on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And slide up 2 frets. So now we're using these, the 3rd and the 5th fret. So, and we're going to bend this string, the 6th string or the E string on the 5th fret. Sorry. It's the same riff. Sorry. You see, I like to give it a little vibrato there. A lot of different ways to do that. Ready? 2, 3, 4. So there we put a bunch of them together. We had our, and our intro, which you can see was used in the midst of the song as well. And then we had handful of riffs that you can take, put them together, try them out at home, and then wander your way around the pentatonic scale. And you will find more riffs for sure. So I'll leave you with a little bit of blues. Again, hopefully we'll see you at Paisley Blues Fest. It's in September this year. Go to their website and find all the details. We're crossing our fingers that everything is a go. We'll be able to gather. And the Rob Elder Trio is going to be excited to be there and play us some blues, play us some of our music, and hopefully you found this helpful. Take it home, practice, listen to the video, watch a video, play along with the video, and figure out what feels good for you. Find your sound. Doesn't matter what kind of amp you've got. whether you've got an acoustic guitar, electric guitar, pedals, no pedals, whatever. You can play the blues, and hopefully this helps. My name's Rob Elder. See you at Paisley Blues Fest.